Welcome to HBO Lax. This is Lizzy Pace.
And this is Katherine Dudas.
And it looks like we have a third host tonight.
Yes,
I'm with this angel.
My little foster dog, Tina Bobina.
Oh my God.
She is so
Katherine
sweet. She's
has a tiny little chihuahua-looking creature.
You can go on our
lap.
YouTube if you want to see her. I'm using her already for clicks. No, she's my foster
dog. Oh,
yes.
yes.
For clickbait.
Yes, direct to
No, I
YouTube.
have to give her back. I don't want to, but I love her so much. Yeah, Wags and Walks, if you want to foster with them. They are cool. They have a nice facility in West LA. And if you get a dog who hates to be in a car, and you live on the east side, it's a little hard, but you know, she's really funny to drive with. When I'm driving, she has to have her like paws on my forearms, and and it really kind of hurts. It's like, yeah, but she's because she's like, I need to see what's happening. Anyway.
She's so scared.
Anyway, we're
the three foremost TV, film, and pop culture experts.
Yes.
And today we are recapping season 2 of The White Lotus, episode 5.
Yes, I am
so
excited. Wow.
Wowie.
Lizzy, wowie. It was amazing. Everything. I literally paused like multiple times just to like take a moment. Do you have to do this? Because I like my like body can't take what's happening, and that is a fucking good show. That is a well done episode. I was very, very happy. I don't know about.
Let me just tell you,
else.
I watched it after 2 consecutive episodes that I was taking notes on Love Is Blind season 3, and I could not wait to get to White Lotus.
We beat out
Love Is Blind. You can miss a line. But White Lotus, you gotta know. I'm writing down every line.
Oh my gosh,
probably not good, but
no, it's amazing. The every frame, every transition is just perfect. And every outfit, Lizzy, the outfits. I audibly gasped at Lucia's that like green dress.
So good.
I freaked out.
One day, if we have different segments, we should do all of our transitions the same way as White Lotus. Just like oceans and like wine pouring.
Wait, in between the cuts of the podcast, because that's so funny.
Yeah, in between the cuts. Yeah. It's definitely much more work than we need to do. That's
so
I love the vibe.
I love it. That's a good idea. We're doing it. Oh my God.
We start out with the promo. Tanya meeting the gays.
Before we start, I would like to just do my weekly readout of a really nice review we got on Apple Podcasts. Because
Katherine, I told you not to read the reviews.
But Lizzy, we got another nice one, and it's so nice. And okay, well, this is from Eliza. On November 21st, 2022, love the White Lotus recaps. Love Lizzy and Katherine's dynamic. I really look forward to listening to the recaps on Mondays after watching the ep on Sunday night. Smiley face. This made me so happy.
That is so nice.
I'm like, look at us.
Thank you.
We're so thank you. I want to say thank you to everyone who has written, and I encourage, if you have not already, write a review, and I will shout you out on the pod.
Yes, Katherine is reading them against my wishes.
wishes, but that's good because I can monitor them. Lizzy will never have to know anything, and I can.
That's great.
Yes. No, it's so everyone's been so sweet.
No, we do really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Everyone who has told people about the podcast or given us a rating. I love our dynamic too, Katherine. For what it's worth.
I think it's very great. Sexy and fun.
Sexy.
I know.
Oh, interesting.
I'm like, oh wait, is that not the word you would use? Oh yeah. I mean, it's very platonic.
Yeah, all of the sexual tension. All the sexual tension.
Our whole podcast is the horniest moment of the week. Which, by the way, speaking of, too many to count.
Contentious award. We start. I mean. We have. Let's just get into it.
Let's get into it.
You've read your nice internet messages.
We're
and now for the promo. Tanya, the lovely Jennifer Coolidge, met the gays. We see Harper has become Daphne's BFF and finds the condom wrapper. We see Mia sleeping with Giuseppe in order to make her music. Some sort of Feels kind of like the Little Mermaid somehow. And we see the makeout fight between Portia and Albie, where they're both making out with both turn out to be sex workers. But we start on a dark ocean shot, and then Lucia and Albie banging.
Oh my God. I know it's a little crude, but I could watch Albie come all day. I just can. I love it. Sorry to your boyfriend's aunt, uncle who listen, but I love it. That honestly, there were a lot of competitions. This was my horniest moment of the week. Mic drop. It's the first one. That was look, that's just my definition is what turns me on the most.
First shot.
That moment turned me on the most. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm sure Jake's aunt and uncle agree with you. Mine is different.
Okay, I'm excited. No, I'm glad yours is different. Yes, good.
Can't wait to discuss this at Christmas.
In
Did you agree with our horniest awards, or did you have something else?
Yeah.
Oh, did you have the?
Did you not jump the gun so quickly?
Look, I did write horniest moment, but something else stole it from me.
I'm excited.
We see Lucia's like, "Are you gonna come for me?" And Albie's having the time of his life. Love it. Waves crashing. We see Portia's room, and she wakes up next to Jack, butt ass naked. And then we see Tanya on the phone. The gays invited us to Palermo for 2 nights. Bring cute things. Do you have any? Are you sure? To Portia. She's like, yes.
So
What
funny.
do you think? What article of clothing do you think she was referring to? I think it was the bucket hat.
Yes, I was thinking that similar, and it was interesting because that was the first time I thought. I was like, oh, that was the first direct dig, I feel like, from to Portia from Tanya, because there's been subtle things, but I was like, oh, we're digging. I was like, okay, like shots fired. That's funny. Yes. And then Portia gets up and goes over to the balcony to enjoy the view, not before our man slaps his butt or scratches his butt. What was it?
I had scratches.
It was scratches.
Sound off in the comments. He's slapping his own butt.
Maybe I wish it would. It makes no sense if he was slapping it. I'm like, that's like what I want it to be. Anyway.
As one does.
I know, like, that makes no sense.
Occam's razor, the most likely thing to be true is probably true.
I'm so embarrassed. Anyway, it's a beautiful view.
It's a beautiful view. We cut back to Ethan and Harper's room, and Ethan wakes up to a bomb drop. Harper has planted the condom wrapper on the sink for him to see the next morning. What kind of a scheme is this?
Lizzy, I was so excited. Like, that his whole walk to the bathroom, I was like, yes, he's going to find it. What's going to happen? Very interesting. So this, he comes out. She's obviously waiting for him to find the condom. And he's just like, what is this? You tell me. Kind of like, this makes sense. Like, this is where it's going. He's asking where she got it from. She points to the couch, which I loved. I love that she just pointed to the couch. I was like, I just love that.
She's doing the least.
She has had Lizzy.
So much time to prepare for this moment. And the way that she does this by like planting it and then like barely saying anything is incredible.
It's really interesting. It's just not how I would ever do it. So it is really fascinating. So I'm like really, this conversation is so interesting because he was literally trying to, I didn't like how he was acting in this. I will just say right off the bat, I'm team Harper. Like, even though like it's confusing how she's acting, but like he going right to defensiveness and going like, I never lie. I'm like, dude, you are not in the position you are in the position to be like, I am so sorry. You're right. That is what you're supposed to say right now. Not this like, what?
Yeah, maybe he thinks that his lie of omission is not a lie, but when you describe your day as getting drunk and going on jet skis and really you were doing Molly with sex workers, That's a lie.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
and you have to at least acknowledge, like couples therapy, I'm like, you have to at least acknowledge that like it was it's a crazy thing for her to hear. You have to validate her feelings. Like, obviously, she's not crazy for being like, you did Molly and hung out with hookers, like, without me and didn't tell. Like, obviously, that is like, he should be like, yes, you're right. This is crazy. But he's not. And that is the problem.
He says, no sex stuff. One tried to kiss me. Nothing happened. We took Molly. I know it sounds bad.
Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah. She's
and she's like, I gave you every chance to tell me what happened and you bullshitted me. And Ethan is like, I was worried you'd talk to Daphne because he begged me not to tell anyone. And Ethan is like, don't make a bigger deal out of this. Ugh. You know I don't lie to you. No. And we cut to Albie's room. Oh my God.
This was my cringiest moment of the week. This scene made me want to die. I paused it before. I was like, I can't.
Lucia tells Albie she's gonna go. He says, can I see you again? I want to hang maybe tonight. And she says, do you have my money? Aww. And he says, money? And this was my cringiest moment of the week. Absolutely. Albie is getting it 2 weeks in a row for me. There was him confronting King. Jack and Portia. He is the White Lotus cringe king. Yeah. 100%. This is
because Lizzy, there was a moment last week where I was like, oh, maybe I was thinking she liked him. I mean, this episode, but like, I really thought she wasn't going. Maybe I'm so dumb, but I really was like, she's not going for the money. She likes him last time.
It is a little confusing.
Yeah, but this I know, and I couldn't tell if she was lying.
But I guess she was like, she assumed he knew. I guess.
Yeah. Maybe it was both. Maybe she was falling.
It's $2,000 for overnight.
Which, wow.
And they're both apologizing. She's like, sorry, I thought you knew. He's like, I've never done anything like that before. And she's like, it's okay. It's fine. You're nice. You don't have to pay for it. He says, now I feel bad. She says, there's a man who will ask me for the money and he's crazy. And Albie's like, okay, I'll go to the bank. But Lucia's like, I like you. And he says, I like you too. So this is very confusing.
It is confusing. And then she was like, and then she was like, oh, unless you don't want to like hang out later. And he's like, oh no, yeah, we can't. Like, she's acting. I'm like, Lucia, you're not being fair here. You're like kind of being, she was like, wait, yeah, you want to hang out? And he's like, well, yeah, but he's confused with the boundaries. We're all confused. And she's not making it very clear.
No.
Lucia, she's a mystery to me.
There's also a language barrier.
Yeah. Okay, Lizzy, can I bring up I want to bring up something that we'll talk about later, but is Alessio real? Is it a scam?
Alessio? I was wondering if it was real, but then we see someone later in the street, and the man's name was Alessio.
Exactly. But then I was like, we didn't hear what they were actually saying. Like, it was just like speaking Italian. I don't know. Something was weirdly fish. I don't know why my antennas is up about this situation.
Well, we've never seen Mia and Lucia discuss like a pimp situation.
Yeah. I want to believe Lucia's good.
I agree.
But also the grandpa said that thing. We'll get to it. But
yeah.
Anyway.
We see then breakfast between Portia and Tanya, and this was super interesting. Because Tanya says to her, how did I not see the signs? Okay, she's still talking about Greg. Do you think I'm oblivious? Maybe I should have started that spa for poor women with that girl from Maui. She was a real healer. And in this moment, I'm like, we have been questioning whether Tanya is oblivious or like just like an evil rich asshole. And this moment, I was like, oh, no, she remembers the promises she made to the woman in Maui.
Yep.
She was pretending to be oblivious.
Such a good point.
To get out of it.
Oh, my God.
And now she's like, maybe she put a curse on me. Sometimes these healers are a little witchy.
Yes. And I was like, wow. I was like, this sounds derogatory. I was
I am so sorry,
like, excuse
Catherine.
me.
I was thinking
I'm
of you
offended.
during the scene.
It was really interesting because I'm like, well, they are, but like in a good way. But I
What,
think
healers
Lizzy.
put curses
Oh
on
no,
people?
healers are a little witchy, but in a good way, I think.
Oh.
I think the good ones are, but no, I think this was really interesting. I think you're exactly right, and this was this whole episode. We're getting more and more information about Tanya. And I think you're right. We're leaning on the scale towards not oblivious, knows the shitty things she does, which makes her more interesting.
It does make her more interesting.
Yeah.
It makes it harder to enjoy the
Yes.
like comedy bits.
It does. It
but
does.
We cut to Albie and Dom, and Dom's like, "How was your night? Did you have fun?" And Albie nods, and he's like, "I need to go to the bank." And Dom's like, "I can give you 200 euro." He's like, "I need more than that." And Dom is like trying to make him say basically what it's for. And he eyes Lucia. And Lucia and Mia then eye Ethan, who hides his face. Everyone is looking around.
Obsessed. Loved this whole
This is kind of House of the
sequence.
Dragon, that like funeral scene.
Yes.
Everyone's looking at everyone.
Oh my gosh, exactly. Also, I forgot to say that Lucia's dress. This is the one I gasped at when that frilly purple. I was obsessed with the long sleeves.
Oh, I loved it.
Oh my God.
And I
And
can't stop
the
staring at her
shoes.
necklace that has like the star and the thing on it.
She just looks
Very
great.
cute.
So I loved them. I loved Lucia and Mia walking past, and then the guys doing the most obvious, like Ethan with the hat down was so funny. And then Lucia's like, "Those two still owe us money," which is a good reminder.
Good reminder.
Yes. And then we have Cameron saying Daph's pissed at me with a little bit of fake out. And Daphne's like, "Oh, they had their big night without us. Uncool." And so Cameron tells them that he hooked them up with a car and they're going to go do some wine tasting, some day drinking. And I love this Daphne line about volcanic minerals and the wine. She just owned that line. And Harper's like, "Let's fucking do it. Let's get drunk." And by the way, after we've talked about that, I feel even more like Ethan deserves this episode. Because I was like, I was feeling bad for Ethan when I first watched it. But after we just talked about that scene and I was reminded how Ethan handled that, I'm like, no, she is in her right. He totally was kind of gaslighting her.
You think that she's in the right for what she does later with Cameron?
No, I don't think that. But I do think Ethan deserves, no, not to that extent, but he does. These are the consequences of his actions. He did
Take
not
that,
handle
Ethan.
that. He did not handle it right.
Loser.
But yeah, I was like, because I was like, oh no, he's like, but I was like, he didn't if he had handled that conversation right, he just so fucking dropped the ball. He was so bad to her. He did not validate her in any way.
He should have dropped to his knees begging for
he should.
forgiveness
Yeah,
for lying.
He should have been or he should have just been.
And then eaten
Anyway.
her out.
Yes, absolutely. She drops a ball and she says, maybe we can do Molly and Rage. And Cameron looks at Ethan. So good. I love that.
Blowing up spots.
Love that.
We cut to Lucia and Mia, and Lucia's like, "It's a lucky week for us. This boy's rich and very innocent. Maybe we won't be punished after all." And they see Isabella walk by, whom they call a witch. A lot of witch themes in this epi. And Mia runs after Valentina and begs to play music while Giuseppe is in the hospital. And Valentina's like, "He's not dead.
We find out he's not dead. That's good.
He'll be back Thursday."
Yeah.
Yes.
God, he's not dead.
And she's like, "Stay away from the piano." And Mia's like, "Okay, we'll talk about it later." Love this persistence. Mia.
She's
I don't know
great.
if it's
Mia,
the correct direction for your musical career, but she is.
She's very charismatic.
Working hard at
She really flirts very well in this episode. Also, I have a question. What do you think Lucia meant by the punished thing? What did she mean by it?
Last episode they talked about, she said that she was like religiously fearful because hookers get punished or something.
Is that still about being religiously fearful, or like she's like, oh, I'm not religiously fearful anymore? Is it because she's like, he's sweet and innocent, so like we won't be punished because I really like him?
I think she meant like, hey, I think we can still get a payload out of this week despite losing our John.
Okay,
our John.
Got it. Okay. All right, sad. Okay,
I think it's about money.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, sad. So I just stand Lucia.
Or maybe I'm just cynical.
No,
maybe
I think you're right.
Like,
you're probably right.
Love.
You're probably right. Especially this next scene with Dom and Lucia. She lies a lot, and when he asks her, when he was like, did you charge things to my room? She was like, yeah, like a little food, instead of like the 10 million designer clothes thing she's got. And he's like, okay. He does his Christopher deal. He's like, okay, you can charge things like food, but just stay away from my son. And then asks if she's going in his father's room. And she's like, no. And then just one time we took showers. He's like, don't go in my father's room. That's not cool, which is like obvious. But she just knows she has the power. It's crazy. She's just like, okay. Yeah. She doesn't like grovel. She uses her charm. She's very powerful.
Very charming.
Yeah.
Slightly less charming, we see Portia dragging her suitcase out of her room as Albie approaches. And she's like, oh, we're going to Palermo. Sorry about yesterday. Was planning on hanging out. And he's like, yeah, I saw you were busy. She's like, saw you were busy too. Have a nice life.
Okay, short and sweet.
Cool.
But honestly, she had like a look of like after. So that makes, especially at the end of this episode, I was like, I think this is not their last goodbye. They think it's their goodbye, but it's not.
Yeah, I think they have one more day together on the vacation.
I agree.
End, right?
Yes, I agree. We have a really uncomfortable scene with Valentina and Rocco and Isabella, where Rocco and Isabella are flirting as usual. And then, Valentina just very awkward with Isabella, hits on her or trying to, and Rocco catches on for the first time and really is like, and he makes a face that I made. I was like, he's like, what? I also was making the same face. I was like, just not good.
No. Valentina has lost her groove.
Yes, she used to be so powerful.
We see a van driving on the countryside. Beautiful. And our hot foursome get out of this van. They are at wine tasting, and Daphne and Cameron are making out while this poor wine man is trying to pour some wine.
This was so long. They were making out for have you ever, I mean, unless you're like blackout drunk, like forget that there's people across from you, like your friends, and just I would
maybe in high school.
I was just gonna say in high school. Yes, I got called out for being annoying with my boyfriend in high school. But then, by his best friend, who was very bitter about it. And I was like, okay, sorry.
Ooh,
I was like, I don't know.
There's a love triangle story there.
Oh, maybe, I don't know, but he was really like, I apologized to him like years after I was like driving him home from something. And I was like, by the way, I'm sorry that me and the guy and your friend were always like PDA in front of you. And he goes, yeah, you should be sorry. It was really uncomfortable for me. And I just...
Years later?
This is like 2 years later. And I just was like, I'm giving him a ride home. And I was just like, I went silent.
Damn heart.
And he was like, he's like, I don't want to make it weird. Now it's weird. And I was like, it's weird now. You yelled at me. Anyway.
Yeah, you were supposed to pretend like you barely even remembered.
Exactly. So weird. Anyway, speaking of, so that's insane that people in their 30s would do this. And
that is insane.
It's insane. Wow. So overcompensating.
I'm not surprised that you have had that reaction from men in your life. Love triangles just follow you wherever you go.
I just tripping into them.
Too much magnetism.
Too much, yeah.
Anyway, we see Harper is chugging her wine, demanding more.
Mm-hmm. Flirting with Luca.
Litty titty. Oh yeah, Luca Toni shows up.
Love that.
Luca is my favorite Italian name because of the soccer player Luca Toni.
Ooh, that's a good name.
He was very good and very sexy.
I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Got to a huge yacht because I guess this show has the biggest budget of all time. What is the budget on this show?
It
must be crazy.
Understand.
So I was like, wow.
I'm like, maybe they did some sort of deal with Sicily.
I know,
where
like,
they're we're gonna be the best ad.
Honestly, that's a good point, Lizzy. This is a really good ad for Sicily. Except people die.
You just want to go steal shit in Palermo.
Yeah. Anyway, we see.
Which part of this vacation do you most want to do?
Oh my God. That is such a good question. I think die at the end. No. No. The free breakfasts. I don't know.
The free breakfast.
That Mia's talking
I'm like
about.
Molly in the pool.
No,
obviously.
right, Molly in the pool. That's great. Yeah. Honestly, all the sex, any of the sex. I'm obsessed with a lot of the sex people are having. I would like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There is a lot.
There's
That's
a lot.
Nice.
Yeah. Sex with sex.
We see on this boat, we meet the captain, Tommaso, and Tanya's telling him to go faster. And we see Jack shows Portia downstairs, and Tanya notices Quentin, his nephew, and Portia are hitting it off. And Quentin says it's nice to have someone of his own age to play with. First hint.
Oh, God. I didn't get that hint.
He's playing.
He is playing, yeah.
I accidentally read a fan theory about this and read that the term nephew can mean like a sex worker type thing.
Oh, so that's a relief. I really thought
surprised.
That's a relief. I really thought that there was incest going on, and I was like, no, this is House of the Dragon.
Oh. I'm pretty sure they're
okay,
not
good,
real.
Good. That makes me feel a lot better. I was like, wow, it's House
Wait,
of
now I'm looking nephew term for sex work? Now I'm looking it up.
But I knew when he said I have to do something for my uncle, though. I knew in that moment. I was like, oh, he's gonna go fuck him. But I didn't know it up until then. I had like a weird feeling. Yeah. Anyway.
You knew.
Yeah.
You knew it in your bones.
I knew it in my bones.
Because you're a witch.
I'm a witch. But
oh, Quentin says his dad moved there in 1982, leaving his villa, and we see Jack and Portia hooking up. Mm-hmm. We cut back to the White Lotus concierge, and Valentina says, Rocco, you're moving to the beach club. You're always distracting others. You'll look great in a uniform, and the beach is great for flirting.
Ooh, wow.
Whew.
Kicked Rocco out. Not even trying to be subtle
Rocco's
about it.
Not happy.
Yeah, he is not.
No.
Yeah, wow.
And we see my favorite transition shot of the episode, this underwater shot into the wine being poured.
This, honestly, we shouldn't have a new
pretty.
category of favorite transition of the week, because this was also my favorite transition of the week. It was amazing. It was amazing. Oh, it's beautiful.
See, we're forming the podcast as we talk.
You guys are with us.
Incredible to see.
Yeah, you're in the garage with us.
Part of the process. You're in the garage.
This is Apple. Oh, we cut to the best scene. We cut to a oof scene, a exciting scene at the winery.
I mean, every scene with this foursome, I get excited.
Yes,
They're all
wow.
She
went there. Harper asks if they have ever. She starts with the threesome question, right?
Yes.
Yes. She asks if they have ever had sex with the same person. And at first, I thought she was talking to Cameron and Daphne when she said that. By the way, I was like, "Oh, with the same girl." But then, I was like, "Ooh!" I was like, "Daphne's bi." I was like, "Oh, okay, she's talking now." Anyway, and
I think every character on this show is bi.
exactly yes, it's true. And then Harper's being like, "Be honest, and Cameron's like different dating pools. And Harper's like, you never invited a girl over to your door and played naked Twister and never had an orgy, which is crazy. And really pushing them. Cameron's like, no.
Super subtle.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, then Ethan gets pissed and says, Cameron only would always sleep with the girls that I liked. If I told him that I liked a girl, he would swoop in and have sex with them within a week.
He calls it a term,
snapped.
mimetic desire.
Yes.
If someone of higher status wants something, then you want it. Mm-hmm. And maybe you thought the women I have a connection with, sleeping with them would make you smarter. Ooh.
Oh my God, obsessed. He just snaps. He really is pissed at him. And then Harper's face is great. She's like, and then Daphne's face, it's so funny. This whole thing, Daphne's enjoys it so much. It's amazing. And yeah, Ethan's not happy with Harper's questions. And
we cut back to the boat, and Quentin says, "Welcome to Palermo. Never seen a freak show like this." And Tanya asks Portia where she's been and says, "You two have been having sex on the boat. I'm jealous."
So funny. I laughed at this.
And we cut back to the pool club to Dom and Bert. And Albie eyes Lucia, who waves at him, and he says, "I'm going to go eat lunch at the pool." Dom's like, "Why not with us?" Albie's like, "That's the girl from last night." And Dom's like, "I don't know how I feel about you spending time with those girls." Bert's like, "I think because they're escorts." And Albie's like, "How do you know?" Mm-hmm. And Bert's like, "I wasn't born yesterday. It's fairly obvious." Mm-hmm. And
almost lets
Albie is like, "So what if they are?" What?
Almost lets it slip that he looks at him and
yes.
Dom share a look. And yeah, Albie says, yes. So what if they are? And just the genius of Mike White is what I thought in this Albie scene. I was just like, yes, this absolutely follows this character. This character would have this viewpoint on sex workers and would make it a be of like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Like, oh, you're judging them. You're judging them. Brilliant. Loved this. It made complete sense and so interesting. Chef's kiss. Yeah.
I'm wondering if we're like, are we going to see Albie take any kind of turn, or is he just like the only moral compass through this season?
I think I think he is the moral. I don't know. That's a good question because it's funny because it'll be interesting to see what happens with Lucia because I'm very suspicious of her and I think she has some sort of plan, but I hope I'm wrong. But I hope Albie is rewarded for his moral uprightness. Albie says it would be hypocritical that you would judge them since you fuck any woman you cheat on mom with any woman you can get your hands on. So yeah. Shots fired.
How do you really feel, Albie?
I loved that. He says they're just poor and victims of a fucked up system. And then my favorite line of the episode.
Oh yeah.
My favorite line of the episode, sorry, is Bert saying, "Women aren't all saints, Albie. They're just like us." And I was like, honestly, this is my reverse misogynist moment of the episode. I was like, this is great. He's literally being like, yeah, this is what we want as feminists. We want this. They're just like us.
That's so funny because I was like, I do not agree.
Oh, really? Well, it's interesting because I can see that point of view, but I was like, no, I think this is great. It's like Bert is not a feminist, but yet this statement actually is pretty, and I think it's going to be proven. I think he's going to be proven right. I think Lucia is doing something. I think Valentina is probably going to do interesting things. I don't know. She's already done I don't know. I think it's good because we are complex. We are humans. We are also, and I think that is Albie's fatal flaw. I think he has a more one-dimensional view of women. Kind of like he said earlier about
Absolutely.
Like women are,
that's why he's having all the cringe
moments. Exactly.
He doesn't understand.
And it's like, no, dude, like it's like you think you're being really feminist, but actually like you're not seeing us as full humans that are complex. And I love it. I loved it. So yeah, this was a really interesting line.
Yeah. Don't agree, but interesting line.
You don't agree? Why?
No, I don't think all women are saints, but I think overall they're a lot more saintly
than men. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, Yeah, I think, I don't know. That's interesting.
Just, if I just look at the stats for serial killers
Oh,
or
right.
like
I see what you're saying.
people who attack
That's a good point. But I do
people.
think, or is it a case for we use our, like, I don't, like, evil women aren't going to kill people because that is not what they're going to be good at. Do you know what I mean? Like, men are like bigger and they like have more testosterone. So do evil women do things in more women like ways is my question. I don't know. It's interesting.
Well, I read a book called The Power where women started getting like the ability to electric shock people. And it basically turned around the power of the world and suggested that women would basically be just as exploitative as men if they had the power. So
I don't know. I used to have.
it was an interesting thing.
I used to agree with. I used to have that thought, Lizzie. But I think recently I've been like maybe because I remember one time I remember I was 20 and I was in a airport with my friends going to Amsterdam, and I was like if women were in charge, there wouldn't be war. And my friends were like, Katherine, that's not true. And I'm like, no, it's true. And I was like, there would just not be war. There'd be less war, but maybe different kinds of war. Anyway, that's our.
It can feel true for me.
Women,
but I understand that like maybe it's about power. It's not about gender.
I don't know.
We see Dom is like, what's the matter with you? I'm trying to smooth things over with LB. You're basically like almost blowing up my spot.
So funny.
And Bert's like, I can't be responsible for everything I say. I'm concussed.
Brings up the concussion, which I was like, oh, is that going to play more later? Like, is he going to like, because he also had like bandages on his head later on too. I was like, oh, right, you're concussed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I kind of forgot about the
I also forgot. I also forgot.
And we cut back to the vineyard and Cameron confronts Ethan. What the fuck? You told her? And Ethan's like, you left a fucking condom wrapper on our couch and she found it. She thought it was me. I think she still does. And Cameron's like, oh shit.
He's like, sorry.
We cut to the Palermo villa. Jack is pulling Portia's suitcase and he says, you got a fucking dead body in here?
Amazing. Ooh, loved that. I loved that.
And we see these noseless statues at this grand villa that they have gotten to. And Tanya says to Portia, these are some high-end gays. It's a good feeling when you realize someone has money and then you don't worry about them wanting yours.
Wow.
And this
Poor rich
line
people.
was my Eat the Rich moment of the week.
This was also my Eat the Rich moment of the week. And that was so funny. I was like, oh, wow. I totally felt Portia in this one. It's like, wow, what a relief. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Fuck off. So crazy.
Tanya also says don't steal anything, which I thought was
runner-up.
an interesting foreshadowing later.
Yes.
Oh, runner-up. Yes.
Yes. That is. Oh, I didn't think about that. That is a good foreshadow. Also, this room, everything about this. We just have to say it up top. Everything about this villa was the most beautiful thing. Like I just came from Europe and like went to like a palace in Austria, and this looked like it. This looked exactly like the inside of that palace.
Wow.
So yeah, this is like gorgeous.
We gotta go to Palermo.
Yes. Oh, let's do it. Let's do a field trip. Yeah.
It has been picked up for season 3, by the way.
Excited.
I don't know if we talked about that. But
yay. I was excited.
very exciting. And Tanya joins Quentin, and Quentin is talking about the villa, saying he was hoping that it would qualify for some sort of heritage thing, but he would have had to open it to the public, and he's like, absolutely not.
Gross.
And
the dirty
disgusting.
Public. Gross public. Oh my God.
And he says, after hearing the story of your love life, you're a tragic heroine in a Puccini novel. And she's like, is that a compliment? He's like, yes. And it's fitting if we take you to the opera. Tonight they're playing Madame Butterfly.
Interesting.
I just feel like all of this is some sort of grift somehow. I don't know how.
Okay, interesting. Yes. Also, you know, I'm glad you said that because I had more of that feeling last episode than I did this episode. This episode, I was like, like maybe they're fine. But I think you're right. I think we have to keep our eye on the fact that this is some sort of like the intentions of this people. That whole beauty conversation they have. The dying for beauty. Are they going to skin her alive? What is the thing? Are they going to like, that you're right. That is antennas up on this. It continues.
I just
right.
like, I mean, it's an interesting thing. It's throughout this is like all these people grifting each other and like, and we still don't have any idea who's going to die, who's going to kill.
Oh my God, I want to know so bad. 2 more episodes.
And Jack says to Portia, opera sounds horrible. Let's ditch the gays. I'll show you around town. And Portia's like, that sounds great. I don't know what Jack's intentions are with her, but she's no longer worried about her boss at this point.
No, she's just like
every time with Albie, she's like, I gotta check with Tanya, and now she's just like, fuck it.
I think she feels like she got the go ahead when Tanya was like, oh, I'm jealous you're sleeping with him. I think she's like, okay, there. She's preoccupied with the rich gays, and he wants to get them into trouble. Literally.
Literally. Speaking of trouble, we cut to Lucia and Albie in the pool. And Albie says he went to the bank. He has money. Lucia's like, did you like last night? Very much so. So did I. Albie says, I don't mind paying, but I feel weird being a part of some sort of situation if you're being exploited by some guy. And Lucia's like, I don't want money. I like you. And they make out. Has he paid her? Is he going to pay her? Does
she actually like him? Okay.
Does she?
I want her to.
I don't know.
I'm scared. And now that we've talked about this more, I'm like, I think actually she is planning something. I don't know.
But like, wouldn't that be the ultimate sex work? Is you
maybe they're gonna kidnap him though?
A rich husband.
You're right. I don't know. That's my theory. Maybe that they're gonna kidnap him and ask for ransom. That's my theory. And Alessio, I don't know.
That. I mean, that's an idea.
That's my prediction of the episode. We see.
I feel like he'd be very easy to kidnap.
That's so true. Not a lot of work.
Very unaware man. We see Jack and Portia go to town, and he's like, "You gotta have these rice bowls, the arancini." Jack calls her a slag,
which is British for slut. I just know that.
Thank you, our resident Euro here on the case.
I watch a lot of British vloggers.
Oh yeah, snogging.
Before that, sorry, did we talk about Dom walking on the beach? Did we talk about that?
Oh shit, I skipped that. I skipped it. Dom does a sad boy walk on the beach.
End of explanation. Yeah, that's all that needs. That's honestly all that. I think that we can move on.
He sees a bunch of happy couples.
Yeah, he sees happy couples. We see what's in Dom's head. He's like, maybe I shouldn't have had so much sex instead prioritize sex over people that love me and I love them. And maybe sex is fleeting, but love is forever. Blah, blah, blah. I need my wife. Anyway.
I like your explanation.
Cut to waves on a cliff. And we cut to Isabella with her new Valentina introducing Isabella's new front desk co-worker, Salvatore.
Oh, yes.
And Isabella's told that, don't worry, Rocco isn't going to be bothering you anymore. I know he made you uncomfortable. It's like, Valentina, we got to think if Valentina was a man, this is real bad. This is real bad. And was a distraction for you. I know, I'm really scared. And Salvatore's like, okay.
By the way, did you know that this person that she switched him with the beach man, and this guy is the guy with the weird voice that Tanya pointed out last episode.
Oh, that's funny. I love that.
And she's like, that's the weirdest voice I've ever heard.
Oh my god.
I thought that was just going to be a one-off.
Wait, maybe it wasn't
back.
improv. Oh my gosh. Maybe it was written then. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I love that.
But yes, then we cut back and forth between Jack and Portia in town looking for these rice bowls, and Tanya and Quentin in the opera box. Mm-hmm. And Tanya points to a random woman and says, "Is that the Queen of Sicily?" And Quentin says, "Yes."
He took
this is part of why I think it's
pause.
a grift.
Yeah, you're right. After a long pause, it was. I was like, "Oh no, you're right. This was almost my cringiest moment." I was like, I don't like this.
Oh yeah,
it was so cringy. So yeah, what is he doing? He's just trying to embarrass her? Like, it's just for fun? Like, he's bored and he's just like mocking this rich woman?
I don't know.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to find out. I can't wait to find out.
Still trying to get her money somehow.
Yeah.
Or like get her to pay for the villa. Or
like you're right, because she said that
he's
thing.
Like, beauty is like so good. We got to preserve beauty.
Yeah. And she said, she was like, she literally said like, oh, I know he doesn't want me for my money. So maybe he probably does. If she said that. I don't know. Oh, it's good.
I don't know how someone being rich means that they don't want your money.
Exactly. That's a good point, Lizzy. That's a good point. I don't know. Okay, I think you're right. Oh, okay.
I'm just I'm suspect of everyone.
Yeah.
We cut back to our hot foursome.
Slow-mo. I loved the slow-mo.
And
so good.
Cameron eyes Lucia with Albie, and Cameron says to Lucia, "You can't be giving looks like that in front of my wife." And
Laura. Yeah, Lucia's like, "You owe me money," and he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, easy. I just have to go to a bank." And yeah, she still does not get her money, and that'll be interesting. And then she sits down with Albie and explains. He asks who he is, and she explains that she is owed money, and there's a guy she might get in trouble with if he.
Yeah, she says Alessio is asking me about the money and threatening me, and Albie's like, anything I can do. Oh god, Albie.
And she's like, well, now that you mention it, this is the thing. This is why I'm like, this is a scam. This has to be a scam. I'm like, oh, I don't know. She's like acting too, like her acting is too like dramatic. I don't know. I just don't believe. I don't know. We'll see. She's like, oh, it's not your problem.
I feel like we haven't, like, it's hard to trust her because we haven't gotten that backstory.
You're right. It is.
And it's like, where did she actually really come from? Mm-hmm. All we really know is that Mia dated someone, and I guess Lucia knows this one guy.
You're so right.
We see Dom and Bert see that Albie's making out with Lucia, and Bert's like, you can't really be surprised. You normalized it for him. Dom's like, you normalized it for me. Bert's like, I never ran around with hookers. Dom says, me either. He's like, you literally were running around with that exact same hooker. And it's just like it's kind of the conversation that they have been having this whole time, which is like Dom kind of trying to blame his dad for his own behavior. Mm-hmm. And Dom's like, you think you were discreet? Everybody knew. Mom cried herself to sleep. You made her life hell. Do you have amnesia? And Bert's like, well, then why'd she stay with me? And he's like, I don't know. She didn't know better. She's a bitter woman, too self-involved. You were too self-involved to notice that she knew. I don't blame you, but I could. You never showed me how to love a woman or put others first. Always put yourself first, so I did the same thing.
Very interesting.
Generational trauma.
That generational trauma. Also, very interesting last line that he was like, it's not that simple. He's like, I loved your mother. She loved me. And he's like, it's not that simple. And then Bert's like, it is. And it's like, that really made me think. I'm like, wow, I guess that sums up the character view, like those characters' viewpoints. Like I think Bert has like, as a protective, probably coping mechanism, Bert has to think that like he can't, his whole sense of self would come crumbling down. He has to think it's that simple. He can't own up to that.
Re-look at all of that stuff and see the harm that he caused.
Exactly.
And we cut back to our hot foursome.
Love.
And Cameron toasts to the future of threesomes, past, present, and future. And Then Daphne says, I think you have to sow your oats when you're young. Get it out of your system. Cameron's like, I'm not sure that's how it works. It's like food. You gorge yourself. You swear you'll never eat again. And then a few hours later, you're hungry.
Lizzy, what? So he's just admitting that? What, he's just like saying he has sex on the side. I was so confused by this. I'm like, dude, you're just admitting it.
I don't know.
I was so confused by this.
I don't know.
I'm like, you're literally just
I would
admitting
be
it.
so, like,
So
if your partner
weird.
said that, you'd be like, what?
I know. I'm like, if I was Daphne, I'd be like, I'm sorry. Are you hungry? What are you sowing? So you are sowing your oats. Like, he wasn't even being subtle. This was very interesting. I was like, this is not subtle.
He then asks Harper if she's ever had a threesome. She says yes, in San Juan. He's like, oh, with your cousins? And then Cameron grabs and strokes Harper's leg right next to both of their partners at the same table.
Power move. Big power move. He is playing with that power, and he is having fun. And he is like, I'm losing
his
power
penis on purpose.
Yep, he showed his penis on purpose, and he's like, oh, I was losing power because of that last conversation, and now I need it back. And she knows something. I know she knows something that could destroy me, so I have to take this power back and make her uncomfortable. Or turned on. Or maybe she's turned on. I don't know. She also seemed kind of turned on because she hasn't been having sex.
She didn't slap him away.
Yep.
And Harper's like, oh, Ethan loves porn, so it's hard to compete with the slutty intern getting banged. Everyone is airing all their dirty laundry today.
So funny. And he was like, let's stop with wine.
Yes,
Ethan's
Luca
like,
Toni saves the day once again. We then see Mia approaches Valentina. She's not giving up. And now she is playing a therapist. She says, you're gay, right? That's cool. I am a bit too. I think all women are. Do you have a girlfriend? Do you want another? Give me a job and you and I can have some fun. Mia has gone from 0 to 180.
Yep, her arc is very clear. It's very clear what her arc is.
She's like, I will sleep with someone in this hotel to get me my music career.
At first she was like, no sleeping with anyone for money, and now it's I will sleep with anyone who can help me. And Valentina is like, okay. She was tempted and she said okay, and I'm like, okay. All right. I'm not that surprised.
Is Mia Valentina going to happen?
I mean, I think so. I hope so. I hope so. I hope it just gets her away from Isabella, because that makes me uncomfortable. I hope it's a thing between... Yeah. I hope... Yeah.
I know. I have a feeling the Isabella storyline is going to continue,
yep, I know.
unfortunately.
I'm scared. But yes, Mia is very charming here. Very good at manipulating.
We cut to Portia and Jack. They finish their rice balls, and as they're leaving, the waiter yells and runs after them, and Jack and Portia run away. Jack did not pay for the dinner. He says he forgot his wallet and that he will lick Portia's feet that are hurting later.
I don't like that, but okay.
You don't like your feet being licked?
No, I don't like hearing about it, but I won't yuck someone's yum, I will say. I would never. I would never kink shame. Not that I guess that's not even that kinky. Anyway.
No. By the way, I was like rewatching part of the episode before, and when Mia's having sex with the piano man and she goes, ew, 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 I was like, that could have been my cringe moment.
Oh,
that was hard.
That was really hard to watch. It was really hard.
Ew, ew, ew.
The ew, 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 ooh, ooh, ah. Okay. So
we're back in the opera. It is finishing. Tanya and Quentin are both crying. Tanya says thank you.
They touch hands.
He has. Oh, they touched hands. I didn't see that.
Yeah, they he grabs her hand.
We then see this scene between Daphne and Harper. They are drinking wine, smoking cigs. Daphne says the men went to find cigars. And Harper says, I think something happened when we were in Nodo. Daphne says, what? I'm sure whatever happened wasn't a big deal. If it did, do what you have to make yourself feel better about it. I have this trainer in the city, Lawrence, with these big blue eyes, and I spend more time with him than Cameron. And she shows this picture to Harper, and it is a picture of her 2 children.
I was confused by this. I felt like it went over my
head.
It
was weird.
It went over my head a little bit because I'm like, okay, so is there a trainer? I'm like, or is the trainer real? Or wait. Oh!
I don't know.
Wait, I just got it.
I thought this was a threat.
No, Lizzy, I just got it. The trainer is the father of the kid.
What?
Because the kid has blonde hair and blue. The picture of the kid was blonde hair and blue eyes, and she says the trainer has blonde hair and blue eyes, and that kid. I mean, I guess maybe she's blonde, but it looked really. Maybe she was saying that. Because why else would she show the picture? Because she says he has blonde hair and blue eyes.
I thought it was a threat.
But
I
what's
thought it
the
was
threat?
like, don't fuck with my family.
Oh, no. I don't think it was a threat. I don't think it was a threat. I think.
Interesting.
I was trying to figure out, like, what's the connection there? I'm like, oh. Because if you look at the picture, it really doesn't, he's, like, really blonde and, like, blue eyes. And, like, Cameron is not.
It's a House of the Dragon situation.
I know, yeah, we're back to that. But, yeah, yes. Sound off in the comments what you think. Because I think it's that.
Is this a strong situation?
Call back.
Oh, I'm very curious.
I'm very curious.
Shit, I need to read the internet.
I know. Tell me what
saying.
you read the internet and text me.
Yeah. Okay. I will.
Okay.
Daphne suggests that Harper get a trainer, aka like, oh, you think your husband's cheating? Well,
you should
get yourself a trainer.
Yeah. And then they just sit in silence. And it's interesting. I was thinking about this when they were both like sitting in silence. And I'm like, I could never be that cool to like give someone advice, like give them advice and then just like be cool and like take a sip. I would like give advice and then just over talk and be like, but you know, whatever, do whatever you want. Like there's something cool.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. Whatever. You can.
Or do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's not my business.
I'm like, so anyway, where'd you go to college again? Like I can't deal with silence. Maybe that's me.
Yeah. Wait. So is are you showing me the baby because that's the trainer's kid, or like the uncut like part of that scene?
I know. She's like, wait.
So I'm not getting this. Is this a threat? We see Lucia and Albie are eating ice cream, walking the streets. It's like a very romantic Italian moment. And then this man calls Lucia over, and it looks like his name is Alessio in the subtitles. Mm-hmm. And this man gets in her face. We don't know what they're talking about, but
Suspect. I'm suspicious. I think this is a paid actor. I think this is a friend.
On the record,
I think it's
I think it's a friend. Think it's a paid actor?
I think, or she's not paying him.
That's
it's
her
like a
boyfriend.
Friend. It's her boyfriend, maybe. Ooh. That's my theory. We cut to a beautiful shot. I loved this shot of through the doors of Tanya and Quentin. I mean, this room, everything. It's so. I mean, they're talking about beauty in this scene, and this everything about these shots and the decor is so beautiful. And then do
you feel the same way about my Zoom background?
Absolutely. You're with your printer?
Fax machine and the candles.
Yes, and I love
it's
that
not
you
a fax
still
machine,
use
it's a
fax.
printer.
Lizzy, that's my favorite thing about you is you are nostalgic to a T. Like,
it's not a fax machine, it is a printer.
Oh my god!
They're talking about beauty and Madame Butterfly.
I love that he says
and seppuku. I can relate.
I can understand compassion. I can understand bot sex in the afternoon. The one thing I can't understand is the love affair. And Quinn talks about, and she's like, "Oh, you've never been in love." And Quentin's like, "There was this one guy who was like a cowboy that I loved, and he was straight." And I was like, "Oh, it's hot." And then, but he got old. And but I still would do anything for him. And I'm like, what is are we gonna learn? Are we gonna find out who this cowboy is?
Is Jack the cowboy? No.
Oh,
it was a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. But is he? He was like, I would do anything. I don't know. This is interesting. Are we getting
I don't
clues here?
know.
I don't know. It's hard to figure out. But this was interesting.
It's a puzzle box.
Yes.
And he's going on and on about beauty. I die for beauty. Wouldn't want to live in a world without beauty. And we cut to Jack and Portia. Portia, I can't believe you almost got arrested. Like, I give 0 fucks. You give negative fucks. She loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you ain't seen nothing yet. They kiss, and he says this infamous line that tipped Katherine off.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta do something for my uncle.
I knew immediately. I was like, oh my God, he's going to fuck him. And he did.
How did you feel?
I felt like, well, I still thought he was the real nephew. I was like, oh no, because look, again, it's well documented on this podcast how much I enjoy male men on men sex, but but not when it's House of the Dragon style incest, and so that made me uncomfortable. But now that you're like, oh, it wasn't incest, just sex worker, I'm like, well, okay, that's not as bad.
I don't know that.
But okay, but we'll see. We'll have to check the internet.
I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure they have very different accents. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, you're right.
Yeah. Do I talk the same as my aunts and uncles?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it is just a phrase. It probably is just a phrase. Okay. Hopefully.
I then looked it up, and I was having trouble looking it up, but we'll keep you posted.
Yes, well, we cut to a beautiful rendition of That's Amore by Mia. I loved this cover. This was beautiful. How did you feel? This song?
I do not enjoy the singing parts.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I did like
I don't know.
I was like, oh, maybe I just like this song a lot. But yeah, she sings while Ethan looks at Harper or at Cameron, and Cameron and Harper look at each other while they smoke. Kind of like interesting.
I think we might get our foursome. And no, I don't know.
Maybe.
We cut to Dom's room, and he leaves his wife another voicemail. We cut to Albie's room, and Albie and Lucia are banging for maybe not money. It was almost my horniest moment of the week.
Almost.
We see a fire. We see the statue with no nose. We cut back to Palermo. Tanya wakes up disassociating as hell, wandering the hall. All of the perspective keeps shifting really weirdly, like a fantastical dream, and she hears men panting. I was like, are we getting our play party?
I did
orgy?
I do like the panting.
No, it's only 2 men. It's Jack fucking his uncle Quentin, and this was my horniest moment of the week.
This was extremely horny. Shot. This was so horny, and I mean, this was horny. I mean, again, it goes without saying, Jack is very attractive, but wow. Yeah, so I guess that's why he's there.
They made the sounds of an entire room of people having sex.
They did. It was very loud. I was like, it was annoying because I couldn't enjoy it at the time. I was like, these sounds are hot, but I can't enjoy this because I know what's coming, and and I don't approve. But, it is better if it's just he's a sex worker, but yeah, so I'm excited to see. So yeah,
maybe you can go back and rewatch it once we find out what's really going on.
I know, and then I'll be like, okay, I could enjoy this now. Anyway, but oh my God, if my mom listens to this, I hope it's gonna be really hard to explain. Oh my God,
it is hard because I do feel like I'm just talking to you.
I know it is. I know. I agree. I do forget, but I don't think it's fine. She won't. Honestly, if she asked me to watch, she should not watch it. It's too much. It's too much for her pure Catholic heart to take this show. Anyway, so coming up next on White Lotus, we have when I see you, I see a younger version of me, Tanya, saying to Portia, you should slow down with this guy. Lucia is going on a trip with all the boys. She's like, I work in hospitality. That's funny. Only 2 episodes left. Jack is like, we just gotta live as if every day is happening, like is every day's your last day, which is foreshadowing. Lucia. There's Alessio things going on. Ethan is saying to Cameron, I know what you're doing, man. And knocks on the door, pounds on the door. What were you in our fucking room? So good. I cannot wait. I can't wait again.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Do you have any predictions? Like, what is going to happen?
I think I gave my best predictions. I think in terms of the foursome situation, I actually have no idea. I think,
do you think Cameron and Harper are gonna?
I think they'll get close, maybe. I think they'll get close. I don't know if they actually will.
Yeah, I don't know, like, who's gonna die though, because
I think Jack might die. How many? It was multiple people. I think maybe Jack and some of the gays die. Because maybe they're planning something. Because we don't know what they're planning.
Like, I feel like they have to go to that island that Quentin was talking about that's now open to the public.
Yes.
But, like, what I want from the finale is, like, everyone ends up there for something. Like, some big party
that's
or something.
Cool.
And then
that would be good.
There's cliffs and, like, you think someone's going to fall off. But no. And then I don't know.
Oh, I love that. Oh, my God. That's good. That's a good one. Oof. Oh,
but I feel like at least one of the sex workers is going to die
Lucia
based on
or Mia?
just some of the lines.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
Oh, you're right. I think you're right. Because she keeps saying about
but
being
then I'm
punished.
also like, I feel like Tanya might die because like she seems like she wants to die.
I know she's acting in ways that yeah. Well, Lucia keeps saying that thing about punished.
Yeah,
I never thought of it like that. That's okay. That's good.
The only people we know that are alive are Daphne, Valentina, and Rocco.
Really? Why?
Because they were in the first episode.
You're right.
Daphne is swimming.
You're so right. Yeah, Daphne's swimming. Oh my God. I forgot. Okay, oh my God. Yeah.
I'm like trying to think if there's any other loaded guns that are there. I feel like it has to be like those cliffs because they're gonna find the bodies in the water.
Yes, I think you're right. I think Jack, one of the sex workers. Do you think Bert or Dom or Albie? Do you think one of them? Do you think Bert dies?
Not really.
I think his concussion comes back into play though. I don't know. This made me think about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. We've seen all of the setups. We've seen... Oh, you know what we haven't seen yet? Portia took some pills out of Tanya's medicine cabinet. We haven't seen those.
You're right. Good call.
Ooh. I'm trying to think if there's any other like loose ends like that.
Yeah, that definitely is one. Okay, that's good.
We're going to see Bert, Dom, Albie, and Lucia go to that town where Lucia is going to be the translator finally, which is like the trip they've been talking about the whole time.
It's true. Guys, I'm excited. Well, let us know.
I could see Lucia and Mia killing someone.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think I think the owing money thing. I think Cameron, the coming to a head, the Cameron owing Lucia and Mia money thing is going to come to a head, and that will be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can't wait.
Can't wait.
Such a good show.
Thanks, guys.
So fun breaking it down with you,
So
Katherine.
fun, and thank you. Yes, thank you to everyone for listening and for telling your friends, and we love our little TV book club. And yeah, tune in next week and let us know what you prefer us to do next. We still do not have the Succession release date. Yeah, it looks like Succession is going to be spring. So we're either thinking maybe of doing the last season, which Katherine has not watched
seen
yet.
it,
so that would be fun.
Or there's a show coming out called The Last of Us, which the Chernobyl people did. So
Yes.
I'm very much looking forward to that. I don't know if it's your genre.
I mean, I'm down. I'm down for a good show. But if you guys are into it, yeah. Yellow Jackets is
there's
March.
a lot of different options.
Yeah.
We also want to do Yellow Jackets, which is Showtime, but we're HBO Lax. Like the Lax, I feel like covers.
Oh, I forgot it was Showtime, but yeah. But you know what else is Showtime? My
Yellow
film,
Jackets
Juniper.
could be HBO.
I need to plug it more on the pod. Guys, if you are looking for a fun film that's 72 minutes.
The best place to plug
is
the last
30 seconds. Guys, if you're still listening, please watch my movie. But yeah,
please let us know if you have strong feelings about what we should recap next.
Yes.
Ideally, it's a show that's currently airing.
Yes.
I think. So you can, join the conversation.
Join the convo.
The zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Allora.
Love you.
Allora.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.